Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
You know how sometimes you just need a little extra time to really think something through?
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
it turns out AI might benefit from that too.
Right.
You sent over this video of Noam Brown from OpenAI.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
It's got some pretty mind-blowing stuff in it about how giving AI more time to think,
Can drastically boost its problem-solving abilities.
that's super interesting. I mean, it kind of makes sense though, right?
Yeah, it does.
Like we always talk about how AI needs more data and bigger models,
Uh-huh.
but maybe we're overlooking something really fundamental.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just about speed.
It's about letting AI explore different approaches.
Test ideas
Right.
and basically reason more like we do.
Yeah, more strategically.
Exactly. And who better to dive into this with than Noam Brown?
He's like the AI gaming guru,
Right, he's the mastermind behind some of the most impressive AI systems in the world.
like the ones that have dominated games like poker and diplomacy.
So he knows a thing or two about strategy and complex decision-making.
For sure. And what's fascinating is that his work in games
Has revealed some fundamental insights about AI reasoning.
that have implications far beyond just, poker and go.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's rewind a bit.
Brown starts by talking about his early work on poker AI.
Remember those epic battles between humans and computers?
Oh, yeah, the computer poker competitions.
Exactly. Everyone was so focused on building bigger and faster algorithms
Right, trying to cram in as much data as possible.
to outsmart the human pros.
Exactly. But there was this catch.
What's that?
The AI was making decisions in like a split second,
Oh, wow.
almost like a supercharged calculator with a poker face.
But the human players, even those who hadn't played nearly as many hands,
Would take their time pondering their moves.
right, weighing the risks.
Yeah, and that's what sparked Brown's curiosity.
That makes a lot of sense.
What if instead of just making AI faster,
We gave it the ability to actually think. And that's where things get really interesting.
I bet.
Brown and his team found that giving their poker AI just 30 seconds of thinking time.
At the end of a game
Okay.
was equivalent to scaling up its training data by
Wait for it.
how much?
100,000 times.
Whoa, that's insane.
I know, right? It was a total game changer.
Yeah, it completely flips the script on how we think about AI development.
It's not just about data and model size anymore.
It's about giving AI the space and the tools to reason more effectively.
Exactly. And this wasn't just some fluke in the world of poker either.
Oh, really?
Brown points to AlphaGo, the AI that famously beat Lee Sedol.
Oh, yeah, one of the world's best Go players.
Right. Everyone celebrated this as a triumph of neural networks.
I remember that.
But here's the thing.
What is it?
AlphaGo's secret weapon wasn't just its massive neural network.
It was also this clever algorithm called Monte Carlo tree search.
Okay, I've heard of it.
This algorithm allowed AlphaGo to, think during the game.
Exploring potential moves and evaluating their consequences.
Right, like having a little strategist in its brain.
Exactly. And it turns out this thinking component,
Was crucial for AlphaGo's superhuman performance.
I see.
In fact, according to Brown's estimates,
If you wanted to replicate AlphaGo's level of performance using only a bigger neural network,
okay,
you'd need to increase your training resources by,
how much?
get this, another 100,000 times.
Wow, so it's not just about brute force.
It's about strategy planning and good old-fashioned thinking,
Exactly, and this brings us to the current state of AI,
which is dominated by these massive language models.
like GPT-3 and GPT-4.
Yeah, and just like with those early poker AIs, the initial focus has been on building bigger models.
And feeding them more data.
We're talking training costs that can exceed $100 million.
It's like an AI arms race.
Right, to see who can build the biggest and baddest language model.
But here's the kicker.
If that,
These models still operate with very little thinking time.
when they're actually generating text or answering your questions.
So they're incredibly fast, but are they truly reasoning?
That's the million-dollar question, and that's the question.
That Noam Brown is trying to answer with his latest project?
The O1 model.
Oh, interesting.
And this is where things get really exciting.
Tell me more.
Instead of just scaling up model size and data
O1 focuses on efficiently scaling up the thinking time.
for these language models.
I see.
And the results are pretty astonishing.
I bet they are.
The key innovation of O1,
Is that it uses reinforcement learning to generate a chain of thought.
before answering a question or completing a task.
Like it's talking itself through the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Step by step, instead of just blurting out an answer.
And this chain of thought isn't just random rambling.
It actually exhibits desirable reasoning behaviors.
Like what?
like error correction,
Trying different strategies
yeah,
and breaking down complex problems.
into smaller, more manageable steps.
It's almost like watching a human student working through a difficult problem.
Right, but with an AI level of intelligence.
That's amazing.
And the cool part is
That Noam Brown actually walks through some really fascinating examples.
of O1's thought processes in the video you sent.
Oh, wow. I'll have to go back and watch that.
Yeah, you can literally see the AI reasoning its way through the problem.
That's so cool.
But before you do that,
Let's talk about some of the incredible performance gains that O1 achieves.
okay, I'm ready.
Ready for this?
Its accuracy on the AM math competition jumped from a measly 20% to over 80%.
Seriously.
And that's not all.
There's more.
O1's performance on competitive coding tasks
Skyrocketed from the 11th percentile to the 89th percentile.
wow. So it can basically code as well as a really good human programmer.
Pretty much we're talking about an AI.
That can hold its own against some of the best human coders out there.
That's incredible.
And get this.
O1 even manages to outperform expert humans on challenging PhD-level science questions.
No way. Are you serious?
I'm totally serious. We're talking about questions.
That would make most of us scratch our heads for days.
That's mind-blowing.
I know, right? It's
Yeah.
pretty remarkable.
But it raises a really interesting question.
What's that?
Why does giving AI more time to think?
Lead to such dramatic improvements in performance.
That's what you're going to explore next.
So stay tuned as we delve deeper into the mystery of thinking time.
And its implications for the future of AI.
I can't wait.
Okay, so we've seen these incredible results from giving AI more thinking time.
But the question remains.
Why does it work so well?
It all comes down to how AI approaches problem solving, right?
Okay.
Traditionally, AI systems have been like sprinters, focused on generating a solution as quickly as possible.
But giving AI more time allows it to act more like a marathon runner
Strategically pacing itself.
and carefully considering each step along the way.
I like that. That's a great analogy.
So it's not just about speed.
It's about efficiency and strategy.
Exactly. And Noam Brown has this really fascinating hypothesis.
About why this works so well.
Okay, what is it?
He calls it the generator-verifier gap. The basic idea is that for many complex problems,
It's way easier to verify a solution.
than it is to generate one in the first place.
Okay, I think I'm following you.
Can you give me an example of that?
Sure. Think about solving a Sudoku puzzle.
Coming up with a solution can be super tricky.
Yeah, lots of logic and trial and error.
Exactly.
Lots of deduction.
But once you have a potential solution,
It's pretty easy to check if it's correct.
you just gotta make sure all the numbers follow the rules.
Right. You said to be sure everything lines up.
I see.
So generating the solution is the hard part,
Mm-hmm.
but verifying it is way simpler.
Gotcha. And how does this generator-verifier gap relate to AI's ability to think
Well, AI can use this gap to its advantage
by using its extra thinking time?
to explore lots of different potential solutions.
And then quickly verify if they're correct or not.
So it's like having an internal critic,
Yeah, exactly.
constantly evaluating the AI's own work
Helping it identify the most promising paths.
and avoid wasting time on things that just aren't going to work.
It's like the AI is playing both sides of the game,
Right.
coming up with ideas and then rigorously testing them.
Exactly. And this is where the power of language models like O1 comes in.
How so?
Well, they can generate a wide range of potential solutions
And then use their language processing skills.
to assess how valid and how coherent they are.
It's like having a built-in quality control system.
Right,
No
exactly.
wonder O1 is so good at solving these complex problems.
It's a really powerful combination of generation and verification
And it's something that we humans do all the time.
without even realizing it.
Exactly. We brainstorm ideas.
We weigh the pros and cons.
Nah.
We're constantly revising and refining our thinking.
And AI is now starting to do the same thing.
That's super cool.
And this approach has some really interesting implications.
For the future of AI research.
Like what?
Remember all that talk about diminishing returns in AI?
As training costs just keep getting higher and higher?
Yeah, it's getting crazy expensive.
Well, the ability to scale inference compute like O1 does.
Provides a whole new path for progress.
So instead of just building bigger and bigger models.
We can start focusing on making AI more thoughtful and more efficient in its reasoning.
Exactly. And this could lead to more cost-effective AI solutions.
That can benefit way more people.
And all sorts of different industries.
We're talking about a potential paradigm shift in AI development.
Yeah, it's still early.
But the possibilities are super exciting.
Speaking of possibilities.
Let's shift gears for a second and talk about the bigger picture.
Okay.
How do you see this thinking time revolution impacting how we interact with AI in the future?
Well, for one, I think we can expect to see AI
but are
systems
way more conversational and engaging.
more like interacting with a person.
Yeah, exactly. Instead
Yeah.
of just getting quick one-off answers from AI,
It'll be able to engage in back and forth dialogue with us,
helping us explore ideas
clarify our thinking.
and make better decisions.
It's like having a personal AI assistant.
That can actually understand your needs and help you work through complex problems.
Precisely. And this could have a huge impact on fields like education and
Healthcare.
customer service.
Yeah, imagine students having access to AI tutors that can adapt to their individual learning styles.
Or patients getting more accurate medical diagnoses.
Because AI can thoroughly analyze their symptoms and their medical history.
Or even just imagine talking to customer service chatbots.
That can actually understand your problem and provide helpful solutions.
Instead of giving you those canned responses,
Exactly. It's like the AI becomes a true partner in problem solving.
working together with us to achieve better outcomes.
I like that. And as AI gets even more advanced,
We can expect these partnerships to become even more sophisticated and transformative.
for sure. But it also raises some really interesting questions.
Like what?
Like if AI becomes more thoughtful and deliberate in its reasoning.
Does that mean it also becomes more human-like? Could AI eventually develop a sense of consciousness?
Or even emotions.
Those are some big questions.
And while we're still a ways off from creating truly sentient AI,
It's important to start thinking about these issues now.
as AI becomes more and more a part of our lives.
It's like we're entering uncharted territory.
Exactly.
And we need to be prepared for what we might find.
And that's where responsible AI development becomes super important.
We need to make sure we're building AI systems
That align with human values.
and that serve humanity's best interests.
It's not just about creating powerful and intelligent AI.
It's about making sure that AI is ethical
Transparent.
and accountable.
It's a tall order, but I think we can do it.
I agree. And I'm excited to see what the future holds for AI.
Me too. But before we get ahead of ourselves,
Let's bring things back down to earth for a minute
Okay.
and talk about some of the potential challenges and limitations.
this thinking time approach.
After all, no technology is perfect, and AI is definitely no exception.
So we've talked about all the amazing things that can happen when AI has more time to think.
But are there any downsides to this approach?
That's a good question.
Like, is there such a thing as AI thinking too much?
Well, one potential challenge is the computational cost.
Okay, that makes sense.
Giving AI more time to think means it needs more processing power.
More energy,
Uh-huh.
which can get expensive.
Yeah, it's like running a marathon.
It takes a lot more energy than a sprint,
Exactly, and this is especially important for applications,
where speed is really crucial.
like self-driving cars.
Right, like real-time decision-making,
In self-driving cars or high-frequency trading.
where even a few extra milliseconds can make a huge difference.
So it's a trade-off,
More thinking time might lead to better solutions.
but it also comes with a cost.
Exactly. Another potential challenge is finding that sweet spot.
Between exploration and exploitation.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Well, when AI has more time to think,
Mm-hmm.
it can explore a wider range of possibilities.
Which is good, right?
Yeah, it's great for creativity.
And finding those outside-the-box solutions.
But it could also mean that it spends more time exploring dead ends.
Or getting a little bit sidetracked.
That's having too many options. Sometimes it can be paralyzing.
Exactly. So researchers are trying to find ways,
To make AI systems more strategic in their exploration.
focusing on the paths that seem most promising.
And kind of pruning away the ones that are less likely to lead to something good.
It's like having a good editor for your thoughts,
Exactly.
helping you focus on the key point.
And cut out all the unnecessary stuff.
And this is where human expertise can be super helpful.
How so?
We can guide the AI
I'll
systems
send them feedback.
and kind of keep them on the right track.
So they make the most of their thinking time.
So it's a collaboration.
Yeah.
Humans and AI working together.
To solve these really difficult problems.
Exactly. And that brings us to another really important point.
What's that?
The role of human oversight.
In this age of thinking AI,
Because as AI systems become more sophisticated in their reasoning
it's crucial that we maintain some level of transparency.
and control over how they're making decisions,
Right. We don't want AI to just become a black box,
where we have no idea how it's coming to its conclusions.
especially in areas like healthcare or finance.
Exactly. So we need to be able to understand the logic.
Behind the AI's decisions.
So that means developing methods
To make AI's thought processes more transparent.
and explainable to us.
Like having a window into the AI's mind.
Right. And this is a really active area of research right now.
It is Scientists are working on techniques to visualize AI's decision-making
Provide explanations that we can actually understand.
and even allow us to interact with AI during its reasoning process.
So we can give it feedback and guidance along the way
Exactly like having a conversation with the AI
to help it refine its thinking.
and ultimately arrive at the best possible solution
Precisely, this kind of collaboration between humans and AI is essential
for building trust.
and making sure AI is used ethically and responsibly.
So it's not just about making AI smarter, it's about making it more accountable and more transparent.
Absolutely, and this is going to require a team effort.
What do you mean? Well, it's going to involve AI researchers,
Ethicists,
social scientists,
policymakers.
and even the general public.
It's a massive undertaking.
It is, but it's necessary if we want to shape the future of AI in a way that benefits everyone.
I couldn't agree more. And while there are definitely challenges ahead,
I'm super optimistic about the potential of AI.
to help us tackle some of the world's toughest problems.
Me too. This whole deep dive into thinking time for AI,
Has really opened my eyes to the possibilities.
but it's also highlighted the need for careful and responsible development of this incredible technology.
Well said. I think that's a perfect place to wrap things up.
A huge thank you to you for joining us today and sharing your insights,
It was my pleasure.
and to our listener for suggesting this fascinating topic.
The world of AI is constantly changing.
And it's an exciting time to be following along.
I agree.
That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning.
And keep diving deep.